What's up, guys? Lake here, and today I'm actually going to be starting a new series, not really off the line from a lot of the content I already put out, but I wanted to basically start a whole series around RunDisney and answering a lot of the questions that I see over and over in various groups on videos and whatnot. So we're going to call this RunDisney 101, and we're going to try to basically put out one video a week, just answering questions, talking about races, and all of the different minute processes involved in a RunDisney race. So the first topic I wanted to talk about is a question I see all the time, and sometimes maybe a little hard for you to answer yourself, and that is, can I do a RunDisney race by myself? So can I travel to Orlando and sign up for this race and be the only person there all weekend? No family, no friends coming down with me. First off, the answer is yes. You absolutely can. I have done it. And there are even a lot of good reasons why this may be a preferred method for you to do a RunDisney race. We'll talk about the transportation. Disney makes it really easy to get on property, especially if you're staying on property, and I'll talk about the differences between staying on and off in just a moment. If you're staying on property and you are flying into Orlando, you can take advantage of all of the Disney transportation, and this even includes race transportation. So you get to the airport, they have Disney Magical Express to take you to your hotel, so you don't have to worry about renting a car as soon as you get into Florida. That's something great. It's really going to save you money. They also run buses from the resort to all of the races as well as the expo. Whenever you get to the resort, if you check by where the busing station is, there's usually a sign that says RunDisney busing, and they'll have a schedule and whatnot. And there's usually even a person out there who kind of manages the buses as well. But they'll run buses basically all day to the expos when they're open, it is usually the first day before a race. So for instance, for most race weekends other than marathon, the expo starts Thursday and then it runs till Saturday. So there's no expo the last day. But anyways, you can take the buses. You don't have to worry about renting a car, which is one less thing to worry about for sure. Another thing about staying is you can choose where you want to stay. You don't have any pressure by family. So maybe you want to, splurge a little bit on your own self-vacation and stay somewhere a little nicer. But you also could stay at a value resort and, have the whole room to yourself. I'm sure the single bedroom room is going to feel a lot bigger when it's just you and not you and your friends or you and your kids and your spouse, so on and so forth. And then kind of touching on staying on property versus off property, you can do either. You can make either work. I personally, when I did a race solo, I stayed off property, and I am local, so I had my own car. But if you're not, you would probably have to consider renting a car, which may be less appealing. As well, a lot of the hotels around Orlando are going to charge you all their different fees. Staying on property or off property, you're going to pay a parking fee at Disney or not, no matter where you go. So that's pretty consistent. But when you stay off property, they'll give you one price that you pay for the room, and then when you get there, they tax on a hotel tax and this and other service fees and whatnot. So that's always annoying. I like with Disney, when I book my package, that price I see on the computer is what I pay, with the exception of the parking fee. And the parking fees are relatively comparable between on and off property. But like I said, you can stay what's going to work best for you, which might be really nice. You're going to have total control over that. And then talking about kind of doing the races and why this may be good for you. First off, there's going to be no one else in your room. So no one is going to be getting up and going to the bathroom, or maybe potentially when some people come, you have to be waking up really early for this races, so you may go back to the room early to go to sleep, and then at 10, 11, 12 o'clock, your family comes trotting back after the fireworks, and you're basically awake for the next half hour as everyone's getting ready for bed and whatnot. So you have a much better opportunity for a full night's sleep. And now, talking about the races, getting to the races, again, really easy. You take the buses, you're up 2:30, 3 a.m., whatever, and you get over there. And one thing is there's going to be no pressure to basically drop back corrals. A lot of times, if you're racing with other people, you may end up in different corrals. And how Disney does it is you are free to drop back corrals, but you cannot go forward at all. So if you are, say, Corral D and your friend is G, you have to go back to Corral G to race with your friend or friends. That basically loses you time on the course, especially if you are someone who's going to hold closer to the 16 minute per mile requirement, and you're also trying to get characters in. Every minute counts. So that's another thing to consider right there. Another thing is there's a lot of potential to meet new people and make friends at these races. First up, before the race even begins, go and check out local Facebook groups. There's a ton of different Run Disney Facebook groups organizing different meetups. So check that out. A lot of times people even organize like solo racer meetups. So that may be a good option for you to make some friends, maybe grab dinner with a group of people afterwards, grab drink. You can make friends in the corrals. When I basically first made my way up to the early corrals, I was a little intimidated because I didn't know anybody in these corrals. But then after being up there for a few years now, I actually have a lot of good friends who I meet up with at most of these races in these corrals. So that's always something nice to look forward to. But even if you don't know anyone in your corral, you are all there for the same reason. So you have a really good starting topic to make some new friends. Everyone is there, they're up and they're tired. That's going to be no different from you. So just strike up a conversation. Say, hey, is this your first race? This is mine. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's your 10th race. It's someone else's first, and you're going to, help guide them through their way. And so another great thing is you can race the way you want. If you were, say, racing with a group, you are really constricted to the pace of the slowest person in your group. Not to say that it's bad. I love running with people. I love, going and meeting characters with my friends and meeting up with everyone and whatnot. But maybe that's not what you're going for. Maybe you're feeling really good that morning and you want to actually try to PR, or you want to try to get as far ahead as you can so you have more time to meet with those characters. So when you're racing solo, you can race at whatever pace you're comfortable with and whatever's going to work for you. There are always tons of characters on the course. Whether or not that's your thing is up to you. But you could also pick and choose the characters. Say they have Donald on the course and you already have pictures with Donald in the park somewhere. You can choose to pass that one up, while maybe if you were with a group, they would all want to get Donald because they don't have that picture with Donald yet. So you can save yourself a couple minutes and bypass that one, or bypass all of them or none of them, whatever you want. It's up to you. So the next part I'm going to hit on is going to the parks. It really could be up to you whether or not you want to go to the parks. I go to the parks by myself all the time. I have no problem walking around Magic Kingdom, making fast passes for myself. But maybe you want to focus on the races and you want to totally relax. Whereas if you have family and friends down, they may want to do the races, hit the parks all day. If you're doing the challenge, you're going to be up multiple mornings, and that may just not be appealing to you. Or if you're trying to really do the races, that may not be the best choice for you, is to spend all day in these parks. Now, I'm certainly not saying that you can't go to the parks, because you definitely can. I'm just saying, when you're in the parks, again, you can do what you want. You can even take it easy, though. You can take time to sit down and relax, grab yourself a coffee. Maybe you just want to go to some of the resorts and sit in the lounges and relax. Many of the deluxe resorts have great different lobbies and lounges and comfy chairs that you can just chill out in for a while. And the last point I'm going to hit on is the food. Again, just like everything else, it's up to you. You can eat when you're hungry. You may decide that you need to eat earlier because you're going to be going to bed at 7, 8 o'clock, maybe earlier, maybe later. That's up to you. And another thing too, if you really want to do a sit-down dining, you can make reservations for one. I know there's definitely some sort of like a stigma behind doing that, but if you don't mind doing it, do it. I would say go for it. And then eating at quick services alone, I've done it all the time. It doesn't matter. It's going to be crowded anyways, so no one's really going to notice that you're eating by yourself if you're worried about that. But again, you can choose where you want to eat. So maybe there's a quick service that your family doesn't like but you love. Go right ahead. So I'm going to talk just for a few minutes. Like I said, I race solo. Just a few months ago at the 2019 Princess Half Marathon, I did the challenge. Just gonna point on little things there. First off, I stayed off property as I mentioned before, and I drove my own car. If I were to do it solo again, I would not stay off property. I don't prefer to stay off property anyways, just because I have not stayed at a lot of those resorts, but I've stayed at many of the Disney ones, and even staying at a value at a Disney resort, I really know what I'm going to expect, and I also like having the transportation options. I don't like to drive in general, so if I can just park my car at the resort and take the buses everywhere, I absolutely will. Other than that, it was a pretty nice weekend. Again, I liked being able to just kind of hang out. I actually, as I mentioned before, I went to the Polynesian after the 10K, and I basically had some coffee and had some breakfast there, and I hung out there for a little while and relaxed, and then really didn't do that much else that day because I didn't feel like it. And then when I did the race, surprisingly, none of my buddies who I usually meet up with at these races were doing Princess this year. So I was more or less alone for that. I did meet a couple new people, which is always great and fun. Definitely love meeting new people. So if you see me at a race, please say hi. I do genuinely appreciate it. But I ran this race, or races, I did the challenge the way I wanted to. I did the 10K at basically a brisk pace, but I also stopped for pretty much all of the characters that I wanted to stop for. There were a couple cool ones. And then when I ran the half, I actually tried to move a little quicker. I didn't PR, but I didn't really stop for any of the characters, even though there were a couple really tempting ones on that course. But that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this segment of Run Disney 101. If you have other questions about Run Disney races or about racing solo, please let me know in the comments below. And make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all those other good things. The links to those are also down below. And thanks for watching.